Thank you. So yes, our today's topic is news media, and this dictum, no news is a good news, okay, which is normally used in media studies, that whatever kind of news we are looking at, there is some sort of negativity involved in that. Okay. So today we will be talking about different types of news media, print as well as the TV news and even the internet news, okay, and how they are uh, say in the process of constructing the news. Okay. This is the next slide is about our uh, statutory note, okay, the kind of material that we are using for our discussion. Okay, okay, so my first example, and this example I'm using to describe various facets used by news media to present a particular event, okay, because everything is an event for them. Okay, so the death of the veteran actor Rishi Kapoor, okay, this is a news from ABP, Jani Mani Abhineta Rishi Kapoor ka Nidan. This is a post from the Indian Express. Yesterday, Irfan Khan, and today, Rishi Kapoor. Maybe it would have been better if 2020 had not come. Rishi Kapoor, that is hashtag, so it can be better visible in Twitter and on various forms of social media. So here, with the same reference, but about different things, that on previous days Irfan Khan died and then Rishi Kapoor died. So people are not happy with 2020. That is the year 2020, because there are many other things happening in the year which we don't like. So we are blaming the year for whatever is happening, and Indian Express is what we call documenting it. Then another facet of this particular event, Rishi Kapoor was supportive of Ranbir Kapoor's decision to have an intimate wedding with 45 odd people. This kind of news is specifically prepared to talk about the relationship the person had with his or her family and friends, what kind of person he is, to in order to describe certain personality trait and his interrelationship with the other members. Such news are being used. Fact check: all videos of Rishi Kapoor shared as his last visual. So these kind of news are also there. Okay, like people are putting certain video that this was the last video of Rishi Kapoor, and there was a fact check. So both of them are part of the discourse of news. Film Abhineta Rishi Kapoor Ka Nidhan. Okay. That is again from Aaj Tak Live. Another such news: 7,000% rise in online research about Rishi Kapoor in India after his demise. Okay. So now we are looking at the statistics, that because he is no more, people are looking for him on various platforms. Okay, and it becomes a news. Okay, then one more news about his relation within the family, that Ridhima remembers his father Rishi Kapoor, shares throwback photos from her wedding. The Delhi fruit seller who missed shooting with Rishi Kapoor. So this also becomes a news. The fruit seller's name becomes newsworthy for a day. Okay. So basically, there is only one fact, there is only one information. That is, the veteran actor Rishi Kapoor died of cancer. Okay. But because of this particular event, okay, the news media can trace out so many different types of stories, okay, and they highlight those different aspects related with the particular person. And this is not just a case with the death of Rishi Kapoor. This happens with all types of events that is happening around, and that is reported in the media. Okay, so there will be reports about what happened in the past. There will be reports about how this person had a relationship with others. There will be reports about how common man used to remember this person. There will be reports about what was the significance of that person. Okay. So what is happening that if you go back to, let's say, 25 years, 30 years, when we did not have 24 hours news channel and online news portals. At the time, we used to get news on a specific time. Okay, like on Doordarshan at 9 o'clock, you will see the news. Okay, and that news will come for 1 hour or 2 hour, and that's all. So all the important information will come in that news. Okay, and normally those informations are what we call significant informations. But now what happened that the news media is running 24 hours. Plus, there is a lot of competition with other news channels. So every platform wants to present something new, something different, and they have only one thing to talk about. So they will have to ask or look at different aspects of that particular news event or newsworthy event. Okay. And they will have to create the stories out of it. So they will have to talk about all these different facets. So today's problem we are facing, especially in news media, is the 24-hour news channels. Okay. Then you will see the news which is not newsworthy. And if you people have think that uh, we have been seeing newspapers for uh, from the very beginning of our life. Have you ever seen a newspaper in which there will be a blank page and they have written that we don't have enough news today, so we are keeping this page blank? Or do you have you seen newspaper where the newspaper authorities have added more pages, that we have a lot of news today and that's why we are giving 4 pages more? Okay. That will never happen. So it's something that we have to think, that how come the important event or newsworthy events always fit in the pages of our newspaper. It is never less, never more. Okay. So this is where the very idea of what we call newsworthiness and news value comes, that it is not news until it is there in the newspaper or news channel. Okay. So events becomes news, or events are made into a news. Okay. So what is that news? So news is not, ideally, if we say news is not just a list of facts. News is something that is non-ordinary, something extraordinary. Then it is newsworthy. Okay. There's a very famous statement by William Randolph Hearst that news is what someone somewhere doesn't want printed. All the rest is advertising. That if you print that thing, okay, some powerful people will not like it. Okay. Only those things are newsworthy. Everything else that is printed is just advertising. So basically what he said, that news has to do something like challenging the authority. Okay. So if your news does not challenge the authority, if your news does not question the authority, then it is not newsworthy. Okay. It is just a PR, public relationship. Okay. So news is difficult to define because it has many variables. But uh, news, uh, but you will need to determine what is newsworthy when deciding what to write about for your story assignments. Now, this is how the journalist start working. That what is newsworthy? That is the first question. And they never say news. They always say story. Okay. And story, we all know what does it mean. Okay. Story is not a word that is related with the uh, factual information in our day-to-day communication, but it is always a news story. For example, if I say that a dog bites men, is it newsworthy? No, it is not. It is very normal thing. But a dog bites 15 people, then there will be news about the dog, that there is a dog which has gone mad. Okay, and the authorities will have to do something about it. If a dog bites a dog, no, it is not newsworthy. Okay, it happens all the time. But if a dog bites 15 dogs, then it is newsworthy. Okay, there is some problem with the dog which has to be taken care of. That if you say a man bites a dog, yes, it is newsworthy because this is not normal. Okay. A man bites 15 dogs, again a bigger news. Okay. Man, that is many men bites dogs, again it's a kind of zombie apocalypse. It's newsworthy. Okay, so same event is happening, a biting, but who does to whom and what is the quantity, that matters. Okay, and this is something which makes the things newsworthy. Okay. So news is information about current events. It normally talks about the things that interest people. For example, in our country and most of the world, they talk about politics and governance, which is the most important chunk of our news. Then economics, then celebrities, sports, important events, unusual events, major accidents, achievements, and opinions. These things are taken as newsworthy stories or newsworthy topics in our society. And in order to read those news, what we call carefully and with some success, comprehensibility, we need to develop news literacy. It is the ability to use critical thinking skills to judge the reliability and credibility of news reports and information sources. And what our country lacks is this news literacy. Okay. That a majority of the citizens in our country and in most of the parts of the world, they think that whatever is in news must be correct. Okay. There is no question to it. So that news literacy is something that we require today to live a peaceful life. So what is news? I'll continue with that. Semiotically speaking, news is not just a list of facts or events. It is representations produced in language and other signs like photographs. So remember the word representation. If you remember media and representation, here we are talking about it. Okay. That how certain things are represented with the help of the language and the photographs. So news is created by using these signs. Representation is always artificial. Okay. It is always created. And this is where semiotics enters in looking at the news, that whether it is factually reported or not. What kind of words are used? What kind of pictures are given? Okay. So here in analyzing the news, the connotative meanings become more important. Okay. Denotative meaning, we all know, we can read the dictionary meaning, but what are the connotations? Like in our news media about this, there was a huge debate and a lot of reporting about this Jamati, what was the Tablighi Jamaat things. Okay, so they said that some number of Tablighi Jamatis are hidden in the markaz. Okay, so why they have used the word hidden? They are not criminals. Okay, while on the same news channels, when they are talking about uh, a temple, they say that 4,000 worshippers are stuck into the temple. So the change of that one verb changes the representation. It changes what is positive and what is negative. So here the linguistic codes are brevity. It should be brief, neutrality. It should be neutral, and authenticity. It should be authentic. This is ideal. Visual codes, your visual code should be factual. That the picture that you are showing must be factual, correct. Then presence, it should show the presence of the person who is collecting the source. And framing, how you have framed, how you have given the headline, how you have given the what we call title to the picture. So that becomes the framing. For example, if you see, this was a debate uh, where they have given the headline, फैज की नज्म हम भी देखेंगे हिंदू विरोधी. This is the tagline of the show, and there is a question mark after that. But the kind of statement they have used, what we call linguistic code, okay, it shows that the encoding is negative, because they are not basically asking question. If they were asking the question, they should have used क्या फैज की नज्म हम भी देखेंगे हिंदू विरोधी है. So that WH word from Hindi statement is removed. So the person who is reading, okay, will deliberately or can deliberately remove that question mark. Okay. Now in this case, this particular photograph implies that in the center we have anchor. So anchor is in the center. That means she is a neutral participant in the debate. Then there is a person on the left side. Okay, so he must be the supporter. That is, he must be saying that yes, हम भी देखेंगे Nazma is Hindu Virodi. And the person on the right side must be against it, that no, this Nazma is not Hindu Virodi. Okay, why I'm saying this? Okay, so the placement, okay, the person on the left is considered pre-given. Yesterday I said that there is left to right bias. Okay, so who is reporting, that is important here. Which channel, which medium, which anchor is reporting, that is also important, because their ideology also interferes here. Okay, so those who are in favor and in favor of anchor, they will be on the left side, because we prefer them to hear first, and those on the right side will be talked later. Okay. And we expect, this is ideal expectation again, that the anchor has to be neutral. I'll give you one more example. Okay. Recently, Ramchandra Guha made a statement that Bengalis are intellectual people, while Gujaratis are not so intellectual. They are, say, very rich, but they are not intellectual. Okay. And there was this debate about the statement. Okay. Now, this statement is made by Ramchandra Guha. I'm not sure what exact statement was, but he made certain such statement about the comparison of Bengalis and Gujaratis. Now, why there is a hashtag about lobby targets Gujarat? What lobby Ramchandra Guha stands for, and whether he has given the statement on the behalf of the lobby? Then there is red color, and in red color there is the statement with the capital letters, India rejects lobby's divisive agenda. So what lobby Ramchandra Guha or Arnab Goswami is talking about? Okay. And then there is the statement just below the uh, picture of Arnab Goswami, that watch the hottest debates. And it is a debate, but we don't know, like considering this, that if it is a debate, then who is debating? Okay, what is the role of the anchor there? Okay, and if it is really a debate, then we should be seeing the debaters, the experts, rather than seeing the anchor, because anchor has to be neutral if it is really a debate. Okay. Because debates also mean that you are looking at the pros and cons of every event. So was it really a debate? That is another question. Okay. So how you are framing the entire issue? Okay. The framing is done from your ideological standpoint. Okay. They have used a red color with the statement that also gives a kind of significance to what they are saying. There is another such program, they say India news program, which says right ya wrong. So again, it is a debate. Okay. And they are trying to find out whether something is right or wrong through the debate. But they have used shield and two swords, which symbolizes the war, not debate. Okay. So basically, if you are on a battleground, you are making a judgment, not the debate. Okay. So this is how our news channels will affect the interpretations of the issues put forward by them. Okay. Ramchandra Guha making some statement about somebody or some uh, society, okay, that will not affect the life of that society, but because it is being debated in prime time news, it becomes an issue. Okay. So by giving the time space to such a statement makes an important statement. Okay. So they are not just debating, they are making it significant. News story, how the narrative is developed. Okay. So basically there are three parts and headlines. Okay. So this is called inverted pyramid of news story, where the headline sums up the report and catches the readers and viewers attention. So creating a catchy headline is very important. Then second one, lead, introduction to the story. In the lead, you get the most important information. Okay, that the about whom the story is, what is the story, when that thing happened, where that thing happened, why that happened. All these important questions are answered in the lead. Then body. So body will provide the supporting important informations. It provides the background and it relates with other scenario and history and quotes. Okay. So if you say that Abhineta Rishi Kapoor ka nidan, so that is headline. Then in the lead you say that Rishi Kapoor died on this day, on this time, he was suffering from cancer. And then in the body you talk about their family members and who were with them, where was he admitted, and all those things. And the least important thing is called tail, list important information, that is conclusion of the entire story. So media stories are narrated in this particular way. Okay. So if you simply read the headline and lead, you will get all the important information. The connotative meaning of news can only be perceived when they belong to coded ways of using science, which the reader and viewer can recognize. Now coded way, okay, that is they will have to present the news in a way that the reader can understand. Okay. And the social codes that can be easily identified by the viewer will be used. So what is the easiest way to encode the news? Okay. So we are all aware about the stories. Okay. One of the most important such code is narrative, the story. Okay. So the news is never delivered as a report. Okay. Basically, it should be news reporting, but it becomes news story. Basically, it should be a debate, but it becomes a dangle, it becomes a war, and there will be judgments about it. Okay. And the kind of judgments the experts and the anchors are making will affect the viewers also, because viewers are followers of those experts and the anchors. Okay. Like there are uh, people like Ravish Kumar and Arnab Goswami and Rajat Sharma. They are very very famous and they have huge following. Okay. So whatever they will say, whatever they will discuss, and whatever way they will put forward a particular statement will will be going to affecting the uh, viewers. So how that ideology works? So first of all, there are plenty of things happening, and news media selects certain things. Okay. So that is the first and foremost aspect of ideology. By selecting one event over the other, ideologically, media decides and sets the terms of what is significant for the public at large. They show you, like when the Chinese incursion started and there is tension at that border, we stopped receiving the news about the coronavirus, because now the tension at the border is more important news. Coronavirus is not significant, though people are dying, more people are dying because of the coronavirus. Okay. So this kind of selection is the basic ideology of what is happening, okay, in the world, and what the news media wants you to see and think about. So why some events are important? By reporting some events and not the others. News media tells us that the reported events are more important for us. Okay. Okay. I'll give you example here and how they are reported. What kind of ideology is here? This is these are the events and the reports used by swarajyamag.com. Okay, this is the latest issue, and all these reports are related with the Indo-China border issue. Okay, here we will what we will have to understand, that we will have to check that how a particular message is being conveyed. What are the messages which are being conveyed? Which codes and signs are used? What is the context of the news, and what is the agency of the news, that who is sending the news, in which context they have delivered this news, and how they have delivered this news. Okay. So this is one magazine, swarajyamag.com. You can search it, you can get this online also. This is another example. This is from NDTV, and they are also reporting on the same events. Okay. Indo-China border tension. Okay. Now, what is happening? Okay. That there were around 122 stories about Indo-China border events on China NDTV website. I have selected 3. Okay. Now, what is happening here? There are 2. In these 2 examples, the first one I show, the first one. This one. This is Swarajya Max News. So it is basically a right-wing magazine which supports the government and which supports the decisions of the government. While NDTV is considered to be left liberal news agency who questions the government and governing authorities. Okay. So both the agencies have represented the same issue in contrastive manner. Okay. Swarajya Mag talks about the failure of the previous governments. Okay, all their stories are talking about something else than what NDTV is saying. Okay, so both their stories are completely different. Okay. The first one, that is Swarajya Mag, argues that it is previous government's problem. Okay, and situation is under control. Okay, this was uh, probably 4 or 5 days old uh, advertisement, news. Yeah, they are around 10-11 June news. So they, in all their news, they are giving the story that whatever is problem, that problem is because of the uh, wrong decisions of the previous governments, and right now everything is under control. And then if you look at the second one, that is NDTV one, they argue that international relations are at stake and situation is worrisome, which implies the failure of the present government. So they are questioning the previous government, and they are trying to uh, put up what we call a kind of mirror that what is happening. They are trying to question that what kind of decisions you are taking in order to solve this problem. But if we follow the previous news reports, it implies that everything is under control, there is no problem, so no decision needs to be taken, while they are saying that nothing is under control and you need to take some firm decision to solve this issue. So same event, but the stories are encoded differently based on the ideologies of the government. Based on the ideologies of the news channels. So how it works and how we can identify it. So here we will have to understand the manifestation of ideology is the source of the news story. Like in previous case, the source is NDTV and Swarajya Mag. For example, if the source is real, okay, it will be there somewhere mentioned that this was the source of it. But if it is not a source, okay, like there is no such source mentioned, then it is not basically a news. Okay, it becomes a kind of uh, advertisement or PR. Okay, so they say here that this is not news but an ad, although not labeled as such. Second important thing is, if the news is authentic, it will remain static, it will remain constant across the sources. Okay, all the correspondence will be providing the same details. Okay, so authenticity has the kind of uh, characteristic of continuity, that across the sources it will be the same. Okay, at least the information that the people are giving will be the same, the interpretation of the information may be different. For example, here, this is the tweet by G Uttar Pradesh Uttarakhand. They say that फिरोजाबाद में 4 तबलीगी जमाती कोरोना पॉजिटिव, इन्हें लेने पहुंची मेडिकल टीम पर हुआ पथराव. Okay. They have already tweeted this. Okay. Now they have tweeted a fake news. Okay. Why they have done it is a different matter, but they have tweeted a fake news, and Firozabad police itself has to ask them to delete the tweet. They say आपके द्वारा असत्य एवं भ्रामक खबर फैलाई जा रही है, जबकि जनपद फिरोजाबाद में न तो किसी मेडिकल टीम एवं न ही एम्बुलेंस गाड़ी पर किसी तरह का पथराव नहीं किया गया है. आप अपने द्वारा किए गए ट्वीट को तत्काल डिलीट करें. So now when they are writing this, they also put the police in their tweet so that the police come to know. Suppose they haven't put the handles of UP police or Firozabad police, okay, police will not come to know unless until someone reports to them. So this kind of news will spread, and after saying this, even if they delete, okay, there will be a lot of people who have reached to this news. They might have retweeted it, they might have taken screenshots and sent to other people, they might have liked it. Okay. So that news, even if it is deleted, will remain in the discourse. Okay. So fake news is there for a very long time. Okay. So this is where the source of the news is very important, and the cross checking of the source is very important. So the characteristics of mass media, how it works. So the first and most important thing is called agenda setting. The news media decides on a narrative that is to be consumed by the audience or readers. That what kind of narrative we will have to put forward is important. Okay. Because everybody should follow only one narrative. What they show are considered the only important issue to be discussed and worried about. Like if you ask the question that why G News Uttarakhand has tweeted that thing, so that is the part of the agenda setting, that uh, it is the mainstream narrative that you have to write against the uh, certain category of people. So even if it is fact, they will write. Okay, so that is the agenda setting, that is the narrative that we all believe in. Okay, so only one message should reach to the viewer, only one agenda. Then gatekeeping, what we call censorship. A very strong gatekeeping will be done, which means what ideas are to be discussed and promoted is decided well in advance, and any contrary view is not entertained. For example, this case of Tablighi Jamaat, okay, their meeting in the Markaz took place some 13, 14, 15, most probably. Okay, and then a few of them were there. Okay, and then there was lockdown, so they could not leave, and they had to stay in the center. Okay. They have informed police on the very first day when lockdown took place. Police had the information, and the police station is just beside the center markaz of Nizamuddin. Okay, so they already knew about it. Okay, from the very first day of lockdown, but the news came out on 28th, the previous day when lockdown was supposed to end. Okay, because what kind of news should be spread is previously decided. Probably media people had this information even before they disclosed it, but they sat on the information to use it on an appropriate time so they can create the sensation and they can get the TRP. So this is where the gatekeeping comes. Then impersonality. There is no direct feedback possible. Even if you know the truth, you cannot tell them that no, you are wrong. Okay, I know what is right, because you cannot give them feedback immediately. Feedback takes time, and hence even if the news is not authentic, it will get spread, and complete retrieval is not possible. You cannot retrieve that news 100%. Okay, so it will stay in discourse for a very long time. Okay, like there has been a lot of fake news about Nehru. Okay, and there are a lot of information available about him, and still people believe what fake news is going on. Okay, for example, Deepak Chaurasia, again a very important uh, reporter. Okay, he tweeted, okay, about the death of the elephant in the Kerala. केरल में गर्भवती हथिनी की हत्या के मामले में 2 लोगों को गिरफ्तार किया गया है। हत्या के मामले में अमजद अली और तमीम शेख की गिरफ्तारी हुई है। इन आरोपियों पर कड़ी कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। RIP Humanity, Kerala elephant murder. Okay. Okay. Now, the first thing is this news is wrong. Okay. That is, 2 people were arrested is wrong. Their names are also wrong. Their uh, religion is also wrong. And in fact, there was no need of giving the name. Okay, if they are criminals, they are criminals. You don't have to give their names, and you don't have to imply their religion. Okay. And even to this tweet, the DMO of that area replied to him that this is wrong. You remove this tweet because the person who was arrested for this particular crime, okay, was not a Muslim, first thing, and there was only one person, not 2. Okay. Fine. But even before he deletes that tweet, there are 2,497 retweets, 7,593 likes. Okay. So It is already there in the discourse. People are looking at it. Fine. So this is where that impersonality comes. Okay. That once it comes in the market, on the platform, it will remain there. Okay. Fine. So these are the basic characteristics of mass media, especially news media knows this very well, and they use it very carefully. They use it uh, in a best way that they can make out of it. Okay. And if you see that there is this feature for iPhone, what I talked about earlier, okay, that why do they need to write this? Because iPhone is a good company. So we talk about news value. What is a news value? So first of all, they will have to decide what is a news. So what is the news? A good story, a good news story. That is the first thing. How it is decided? First, human interest. That how many people will be interested in it. Okay. So that is why it becomes a news story. Then they think about news ethics, okay, especially about the narratives. Okay. Then they talk about the immediacy. That immediacy decide that this story is important. That whether it is immediately effective, whether it is in vogue, if it is say important for today, then it is a good news story. And whether it is close to home. Okay, close to home means how many people will be affected because of this thing. If many people are affected in our country, in our state, then it becomes our news. If it doesn't affect our people, okay, our country people, then it may not become the news. So close to home, how many people are affected at our own home is a very important aspect of a news story. So there are infinite number of possible facts about the world which could be reported, but news discourse reports only a selection of facts, and these are the criteria to select. That yes, we will select this particular fact, we will make a story out of it, we will find out little bit about the past, we will find out little bit about the future, we will find out little bit about the connection with our country or state, and then we will present it to the people. So news is neither found nor gathered as if they were already there. Okay, it's not the case that in one corner there is event lying and it's a news. Okay, it is a product of professional ways of thinking, writing, and composing, which are all codes of behavior learned by news workers. Okay, so it's a active process. It is created. Events in the world do not naturally exist as news. What is selected as news depends on the usually daily rhythm of a newspaper office and the shared professional codes of journalists. So they decide based on their own uh, ideology, their own what we call experience, and their own requirement that if we make this as a news, will it affect our market? This is very important thing. For example, there has been a lot of news about Kerala, especially negative, okay, in our standard mainstream news media. Okay, for example, here one more. Kerala pregnant elephant death. Pinarayi Vijayan's outrage is fake. His own party and church bodies opposed better protection for forest. Okay, and then uh, uh, the character that is the CM of Kerala, okay, Vijayan is presented in red shade, which implies danger. Okay, and there is the elephant in the background. Okay, fine. So there is a particular agenda which the news channels are following, and this will affect their reporting as well. So news value. News is shaped by commercial, ideological, and semiotic structures through which it is produced. Commercial, that is market driven, that what can be sold. If you can sell it, then it is a news. If you cannot sell it, it is not a news. Ideological. Okay. Does it fit into your ideology? Okay. If it goes with your ideology, you will make it an important news. If it doesn't fit your ideology, you will not give it much importance. You may present it, but you will not give much importance. And semiotics, that is, which kind of codes, signs should be used to create this particular news. Signs that we are using never simple denote a reality objectively. Okay, it is always subjective. Our use of sign is subjective because our experience of the world is subjective. Our experience of the narratives are subjective. They always encode connoted meanings. Okay, so something more than what is said. It draws on mythic social meanings, something that is already accepted by the society. Okay, so the leftists are all in the support of China. So that is mythic social meaning. The leftist governments get their dictatorship from the China. They take their decisions asking China. So this is the mythic social meaning that we have accepted in our narrative. It supports a particular ideological viewpoint. That the codes and the subjectivity will support an ideological viewpoint. See, there is always an ideology. Okay. So there is nothing neutral. Okay. Ideology. The problem is we also have our own ideology. Okay. So this is where the neutrality goes. Okay. That we expect that everything comes as per our own ideology. So everything that is not according to our ideology, we feel that it is wrong. Okay. So we will have to look it neutrally. So the ideology that we believe in, they may also be wrong. For example, this is a very interesting thing. And when coronavirus actually started in China, everyone was of the opinion that they are suffering from coronavirus because they eat everything. Okay. And this virus was largely associated with uh, non-veg food. Okay. So even PETA, such an important organization, tweets like this, that carnivorous is an anagram of coronavirus. Coincidence? We think not. Okay. But they have also mentioned that scientists have a hunch. They say hunch that contact with live animals or their dead flesh may be the source of the deadly virus, which is not yet proved. Okay. So coronavirus, there has been no empirical evidence that it has some relationship with non-veg eating. But when it was started, even in India, we used to get a lot of WhatsApp forwards that it is because they are eating everything. They eat bats and all those things. That's why the coronavirus is spreading there. Okay, which is wrong, but we have accepted because it fits our ideology of being vegan. So an event attains a news value not simply because of what it is, but also because it can be narrated in terms of an existing narrative code. If you can present it as a story, then it has better value as a news. News events, when narrated as news stories, reinforce existing narrative codes, and familiar narrative codes attract stories which exemplify them. And here, the existing narrative codes also mean the stereotype categories. Okay. That in India, for example, Muslims are categorized as terrorists and criminals or anti-Indians in a very brief way. So whenever they get a story where a Muslim is involved in a criminal activity, then that particular news will get more TRP. Okay, because that fits our narrative, what we call code. It is very easy to consume that news, and that is why there will be a lot of fake news with the Muslim names as a criminal, like what Deepak Chaurasia did was part of that narrative, because he knows that this code is accepted. Selecting of an event cannot be thought of as neutral, as they are selected only after the narrative representation and feasibility. That when they select the event, they will check what is the narrative feasibility. Can we get the desired villain? If yes, then it is a feasibility. Can we get a desired narrative ideology? If yes, then it is a feasible news story. So the news anchors an expert. In news debates, normally we have an anchor and an expert in favor of something, and an expert against it. Okay, so there will be both types of experts. Under such a scenario, as an audience, we expect that the anchor to be neutral, because there are pros and cons available. So anchor has to be neutral. This is our traditional belief, and this is how we look at the anchor. Like in the court, we see that there is a judge, there is an advocate who defends the criminal, and there is an advocate who defends the person who has complained. So there are both types of what we call advocates. So we expect that the judge has to be neutral. Same thing is happening here. There are both types of advocates, and we expect that the anchor is a judge and he has to be neutral. But as it is a discussion which aims to put both pros and cons of an issue, it is believed that both the parties will get equal footage and time to present the idea. This is again a belief, okay, that as a person who wants to support the idea, he gets certain minutes. The other person who wants to put the ideas against him, he also should get the same minutes. But that doesn't happen. There will be a lot of overlapping. Some people's mics are muted, and all those things happen. So the ideology enters here. Normally, dominant ideology will be more dramatic in the show, and they will be given more footage, okay, and support from the anchor. Okay. The dominant ideology gets more footage, more drama, and support from the anchor. The dominant ideology of the channel, of the platform. Okay. The audience feels that because the person is right, she or he is getting more footage. Okay, we don't see it the contrary way. Because he is getting more footage, we think that he is right. And contrary to that, she or he is becoming right because she or he has got more footage. Like there is very interesting study done by Theo Van Disk, who was a very important discourse analyst who worked on uh, the media analysis, especially the language used in the media. He said that in case of media, the minority groups, ideologically, the minority groups, they don't get enough space, enough time to represent themselves. And because they are not heard, they had to use the violence. And once they start using the violence in terms of resistance, okay, the moment they use that resistance, okay, they will be get enough footage from the news media, okay, because it is disobedience, it is disruption, and it is destruction. Okay, so all these three, that these will be capture the attention of journalists, precisely because they are consistent with both news values, that it is negative, it is violent, and it is deviant. And with ethnic prejudice, there is a prejudice against the minorities or minority groups, that minorities are criminals, they are deviant, they are violent. So that is why such news will get more what we call footage, and more value, more discussion on news media, because this is what they want. Okay. It has more news value. Fake news and news literacy, the last thing. Today, the biggest problem we are facing is the fake news. And there is a very thin line between fact and fact, and it is very difficult to identify what is true and what is not. The most important concern today, so fake news comes from various sources. It can be WhatsApp forward, and you don't know the actual source of it. It can be a tweet on the Twitter by someone. Okay. It can be a Facebook post. Okay. And you may not know the reality behind it. They might have edited somewhere, and it may be framed in a wrong way. Okay. Then across the world, right-wing ideology is the biggest source and peddlers of fake news, primarily because emotions are more important than logic and truth. We say that now we have entered in the post-truth era, and post-truth era is marked by the emotions. We are not concerned whether it is true or false. We are concerned with whether it is emotionally appealing to me or not, whether it goes with my emotions or not. And this is where the post-truth comes. There is a lot of studies going on about the post-truth. People tend to accept the news based on what they like instead of its factuality. So the important thing is the media literacy. As I mentioned, we need to do a lot of research for that. Okay. The only solution to fake news industry is media literacy. There are a lot of portals available now who check the factual aspects of various news. Okay. It is important for the public to understand the ideology behind the news. If we know the ideology, we don't take it easily. Okay. People should stop blindly believing everything they see on news media. Okay. Okay. We should start questioning everything that we are watching on news media, and we should start questioning everything that see on various media. uh, People should cross check and verify every story before they start believing it. Okay. So you need to check at least 2-3 sources to verify the news that you have received. Okay. Because it is a necessity. It is a what we call, because the post-truth era uh, tells us to believe everything that fits our ideology and our emotions. But if we want to be a good citizen of a country, we need to be very, very cautious, because these kind of news brings in the conflict within the society. So that's all I wanted to say. uh, this is the exercise you have. I have given one news item which was published 1st June 2020, and I have given 5 questions about this news item. You just have to answer these questions. It is available. I'll be sending on Google Form. So that's all I wanted to say, and there are some references. Okay. This last link you should watch.